Hi there, I'm Brian Sanchez, and today I want to talk to you about the 2019 Rumspringa Summer Games Initiative, otherwise known as the Summer Games. Okay, first teams will be picked in advance. It'll be done by a lottery, so we'll be picking names out of a hat. As of now, we have two teams. We have the red team and the blue team. So, hopefully you get on whatever color that you enjoy more. Once teams are picked, a couple of days later, we'll have the Summer Games. The itinerary for the Summer Games is pretty simple. We're going to start in the park, play some games, leave for lunch, go back to the Rumspringa house, play more games, then have dinner. And then after that, we're going to chill and play board games. Yeah. Before we start in the park, I'm going to have a very short opening where I discuss safety tips and concerns about the games and challenges throughout the entire day. Also, since the park has more space than the Rumspringa house, expect those games to be way more physical and involve a lot more running around and stuff. It's going to be a summer day, so I know it's going to be hot. We'll have a small canopy tent and some chairs. We're also going to have ice water and some snacky snacks before lunch. That way, everyone can stay hydrated and stay cool throughout all of the summer games at the park. Now, I've been to Ed Austin Park myself, and I've spoken to the park director to find out what is and what isn't allowed at the park. Both water guns and Nerf guns are allowed at the park as long as they look like toys. So any Nerf guns or water guns that are painted black or they look like real guns from a distance will be completely frowned upon, and we might get kicked out of the park. So we have to stick with Nerf guns and water guns that are very colorful, and it's very obvious from a distance that they are not actual guns. And I think that's really dumb, but hey, I don't make the rules. Also, when it comes to darts, we have to clean up as much as we can. We're going to be pretty much in one area of the park, so it should be relatively easy to clean up. Also, between games, we'll try to clean up as we go to minimize, leaving any darts. Also, water balloons are allowed, and we'll do the same as well. After the games, we'll try to clean up as much of the water balloons or any of the darts as we go. So for lunch, we're going to split up. We're going to go to different places to eat, and that accomplishes two things. One, people can eat wherever they want. They can go to whatever restaurants where they want to eat at, and they can talk about some games, possibly with their teams, possibly not. But the point is that everyone splits up. Secondly, that helps me to set up for the second half of the Summer Games before everybody comes back to the Rumspringa house. Now, the games at the Rumspringa house immediately after lunch will be a little bit different than the first half of the day. I think I ate too much for lunch. Now I'm full. I don't really want to move stuff. And that's fine. I understand that. So the games immediately after lunch will be games that don't really involve a lot of moving, but just a lot of thinking. YouTube challenges where you can pretty much sit down at a table, and then trivia games where you pretty much use your mind. These are the kind of games that you can expect to play after lunch. But given enough time, after those games, once people have begun to digest their food, physical games are back on the menu, boys! Woo! But it's not going to be physical games like the ones that we had at the park. Because we will be working with less room, then we got to work with games that are physical in different ways. So expect those games at the Rumspringa house to be more in line with dexterity, concentration, carefulness, and teamwork. Once dinner time comes along and it's time for everyone to eat, then the Summer Games are over. There's only going to be two more ways that you can earn points for your team after dinner. You can earn points for your team by being voted by superlatives. What are superlatives? Well, we'll talk about that at another time. And the second way is to bribe the judges. Okay, I'm being completely serious here. Do not bribe the judges. So pretty much after dinner, we're just going to chill and play board games. It's just going to be hanging out after the Summer Games and possibly rewatching some of the games that we did. Now, when I say rewatch, that's because all of the events on the Summer Games will be recorded by the judges, not only to make sure that things are fair, but also so it's fun to rewatch the things that we did. Now, I have spoken to some of you at length about some of the stuff that goes on with the Summer Games. So allow me to summarize. A lot of the games that I have in plan for the Summer Games have their own hazards. I have a list of hazards right here, so let me read off the list. Ice water being thrown or sprayed on you, touching live animals or bugs, people touching you in general, blindfolded eating, getting raw egg thrown at you, or just getting put onto your person, getting water balloons thrown at you, or catching them and having them get all over you. Things that can shock you, induced brain freezes, getting hit by ping pong balls, getting pied in the face, eating real food or dog food, being bound or tied up. But some good news: habaneros, jalapenos, hot sauces, anything spicy. All of these things have been taken out of the Summer Games completely. So don't worry about anything spicy. Now, I've laid out most of the hazards for most of the games, and I just want to keep in mind that there are way less hazards than there are games on the game wheel. The list of games that we're going to be playing is way bigger than the amount of hazards that are in the games in total. Actually, there might be a chance that you might even not encounter any of these games at all. The reason why is because the games are going to be picked based off of a spinning wheel game after game. So we'll never know which game is going to be next up until the wheel is spun. I want us to have fun at the Summer Games. I don't want people to get hurt. Safety is my #1 priority, and that's why I need to cover some of these things before we do any of these activities. I want to push people out of their comfort zone. It's nice to make memories that way. I don't want to push people. That's different. I don't want to do that. If there is something you do not want to do, and you wholeheartedly do not want to participate in certain games with these hazards that I have mentioned, then let me know, and I will personally make sure to accommodate you. Now, like I said before, safety is very important to me, so I need to know a couple of things about you before we get started with the Summer Games. Are you allergic to any foods? Are you allergic to any materials, plastic, latex, grass, etc.? Do you have any medical conditions that I should be aware of that would prevent you from participating in any type of physical activities? Like if you have a bad knee and you don't want to participate in jumping, because jumping and landing can hurt your knees. Or if you have a bad shoulder and you have to throw something and you don't want to throw out your shoulder, then I want to know about that too. Do you bruise easily? How well do you handle ice water? How well do you handle getting brain freezes? How well do you handle getting shocked? And I don't mean electrocuted, more like static shock. Is there anywhere that you definitely don't want to be touched? Don't touch my hair, don't touch my feet, don't touch my face. Boobs, butt. What will you definitely not eat? I'm not talking about allergies here. I'm just talking about foods that you definitely, if you were blindfolded and you had to eat said foods, would you vomit? So I can put these foods in the games. Just kidding. I don't want vomiting at the games. That's a lot to clean up. As funny as it is, cleanup is just too much. Do you have any phobias that I should be aware of that you don't want to encounter at the games? Claustrophobia, arachnophobia, ophidiophobia, just any type of phobias that you definitely do not want to end up, manifesting at the Summer Games. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the Summer Games or anything that I have mentioned so far. If there is anything that you want to discuss with only me, then feel free to email me at rumspringasummer2019@gmail.com. I've also included the email link in the description below. Feel free to use the comment section of this video to discuss anything with any of the other players of the Rumspringa Summer Games. Maybe you have recommendations even for me that you want everybody to know about. I'm open ears, I'm flexible, I can change, I swear. I want to hear from you. Do you have recommendations for Summer Games that we can play either at a park or inside of a house? Do you have recommendations for maybe different team names? Instead of red and blue, maybe we can have teams like fire and ice, where one team is hot while the other team is cool. So let me know down below. Maybe you have recommendations for different types of trivia. We can have trivia based off of movies, trivia based off of games, trivia based off of music, trivia based off of different aspects. Shoot, even trivia based off of the players of the Rumspringas themselves. Let me know. Do you think I'm asking too many questions? That's a very high possibility. If that is the case, I have also included a list of all of my questions, considering what are the hazards and concerns for the games, as well as recommendation possibilities. I've put all of these questions in the description. I'm very excited for the 2019 Summer Games Initiative, and I hope you are too. There's still a lot more planning to be done, but I hope to see you there. See ya!